Hey there people, how you doing? So, today I'm here to talk about the software of the iPhone 12. Basically, iOS 14, I've got the latest update, I think it's 14.2 or something, and how it feels basically. Because for a long time now, years, I've been an Android user exclusively. I've never used an iPhone as my main device, and so I never really got to experience iOS as such. And not that I've been wanting to use it, but it's it's been fun using it for a while now. But there are certain complaints, certain nitpicks to an extent. For some people it matters a lot, for others it doesn't even matter for them maybe. But to me, these are my set of complaints and appreciations that I have for iOS 14. So let's get started. First and foremost, I've got to talk about Face ID because I think that it is awesome for what it does and how fast it is as such. But the main problem I found with Face ID is that two-step process. You have to first tap and then swipe up. Of course, you could do that instantly and it will work. It'll work slightly fast, but I wish we could just tap and it'll instantly take us to the home screen. And I'm sure it's possible given how fast and how magically Face ID works. I don't think it's very much possible, but we just don't have it. So yeah, Face ID in and of itself is amazing. Just want to clarify once again, it is. But I do believe it could be just a little bit better. And now, what about after you're inside the iPhone? And well, the one thing that I found that pleased me more than anything else is the software. Just how smooth everything feels. Not everything is like the fastest, the animations are not the snappiest. They're not like OnePlus level snappy and fast, but they are smooth. They are smoother than any other phone that I've used, whether it's Android. Well, Android phones are the only other ones I've used, but now there's no other company has been able to tweak and refine their animations like Apple, and we all know that. But seeing it firsthand and using it for over a month, it just made me realize and appreciate that much more. Because man, even in something like moving from a YouTube full screen to picture-in-picture, there is not a single frame drop. It's incredible. I mean, even on the OnePlus 8 Pro or say the Note 20 Ultra, we always see one frame drop or two. It's like an obvious stutter that you're gonna get when especially moving from full screen video to picture-in-picture. It's something that has been kind of ingrained in my mind and I expected. The fact that I didn't see the stutter here, it almost surprised me, and it was an enjoyable realization, to be honest. Now, another thing I really like about iOS as such is the inclusion of widgets, and coupled with that, we can finally get rid of all the unnecessary and unused apps that we have got on our phone. We don't have to keep them on the home screen. We don't have to store them in one trash folder and just still keep it. It's annoying, and it's just how it's been all this while, but nonetheless, I do think that it's a lot better now. Easily. Secondly, the widgets. It's incredible. The widgets are very good and they match very well with the squircle icon shapes, and they fit right in. That's what I'm trying to express right here. But one thing that I do not like about the home screen is that basically you cannot drag your apps down on the home screen and keep the upper part empty. You have to fill it with something, whether it's a widget or you can use third-party applications to make fake apps that will fill the upper portion of your screen. It's a weird solution, and the fact that you have to go to third-party apps for such a simple and obvious solution, kind of sad. It really shows that although iOS is like insanely refined and very user-friendly now more than ever, there's still room for improvement, and obviously that goes for everything in the damn world. But over here it's very much visible on the home screen when it comes to apps, because it's not a huge problem on the smaller iPhone 12, but on the bigger one, having all your apps on the lower half of the screen is gonna make a huge difference in my opinion. And then we have navigation, which is once again the smoothest that I've seen on any device so far. It just makes me wonder how good it would have been if we had 120Hz built into the display. That buttery smoothness coupled with the unbelievably smooth and again buttery feel of all the animations throughout the phone. Just imagine that. Man, that would be something. It's gonna come next year, hopefully. I'm not saying that I know it's gonna come next year, but well, we thought it'd be coming this year, and it's a bummer that we don't have 120 Hz. It would have been integral to the smoothness of the animations that iOS already has. But we don't have it, and even so, it's still incredibly smooth. It's the smoothest 60 Hz display that you're ever gonna use, basically. And iPhone, they are known for that. But one thing that I do want Apple to bake into iOS 14 with navigations is that we need a dedicated back gesture like we have on Androids, where you can just swipe from either of the side edges and you can just go back. And we don't have anything like that. It's dependent on the app. Either you can get an arrow on the top of the display, or maybe you can just swipe right. It depends. And because of the fact that it's so unstable in terms of how you can go back, it's not very easy to use, and sometimes I end up swiping right and see that, oh, we can't do that, we have to press the arrow. Other times I'm looking for the arrow where I have to just swipe right, and it's confusing and it's unnecessary. We could just have a single back gesture that works universally. It's built into the system UI and it works flawlessly well. I think Apple could do that and they wouldn't have any issues, but these are the small tweaks that I really wish Apple would do it, because that would make iOS 14 like so much better than it already is. Another, albeit little, gripe that I have over here is that app library, man. It's confusing, and I'll admit I have never used this app library, this form of app library. Maybe in another few months I might get used to it, sure. But like, getting used to something like this is just, yeah, I don't know, man. The grouping is not my favorite in my opinion. It could be useful for some people who like this form of app library, but I just don't, and I could not get used to it so far. So yeah, not the biggest fan. Now one more gripe, and this isn't technically a gripe, so just don't just exit the video already, but it's with the notification shade. It's good. It's alright, but the fact that you have to swipe down from all the way up top instead of anywhere on the home screen that almost every Android phone has already. Like, take Samsung for example, you can swipe down anywhere on the home screen and the notification shade comes down. Same goes for OnePlus. And compared to that, here, if you want the quick toggles, then you have to swipe from the rightmost corner, and if in case you're holding your phone with your left hand, it's impossible to do it one-handed. With the right, kinda possible, but some hand gymnastics are required and that could be fatal. Who knows? But nonetheless, there is a way to do this. You can just go into your settings and I think you have to type back touch. You have to enable double tap on the back, and that way you can literally double tap on the back and it'll bring down the quick toggles. You can also use triple tap for something else. I haven't used that, but double tap works well. Swiping down anywhere on the home screen would have been a much better way to go, but at least we have a solution. That's, at this point, it's kind of more than enough for me, to be honest. Now, notification shade, you could use the triple tap feature on the back that we had, but I don't really mind it much because, quite simply, the iPhone 12 is small enough that I can reach up to the notch and just swipe down. Because the whole notch area and the left-hand side of the display, it's basically, you can swipe anywhere in the upper portion and it'll bring down the notification shade. And the notifications, as a matter of fact, I don't mind them as such. The grouping is much better. The fact that YouTube notifications are singular and then we have WhatsApp and Instagram, all of those things are separated, it's a lot better. Now lastly, we have the icons of iOS 14, and since the home screen is what you're going to be staring at majority of the time, especially when you're navigating and whatnot, I do think that the apps look kind of large. Almost cartoonish, because I talked about this before as well with One UI on the Samsungs. I do believe those icons as well, large, cartoonish, not a huge fan, but the fact that you can just change those icons directly with the themes that Samsung has built into them, it's amazing. On the iPhone, however, I don't think you can change the size of the icons as such. And I know you can change it a little with Siri shortcuts. It's a long process and it'll slow down your phone. But yeah, basically the icon situation I'm not a huge fan of, and I wish we had some way to just tone down on the size and make it look a little bit more classy, is what I'm talking about. Also, you cannot keep folders unnamed. You have to give them a name. I don't know why, just let us keep it unnamed. It'll look so much cleaner, and even the ginormous size of the folders as such, that could be negated with just removing the name. It'll look a lot cleaner and classier once again, and I do think that overall, these few tweaks, they could make iOS 14 just so much better. I know it's never gonna happen, but yeah, I mean, wishful thinking or whatever, I do think that there are improvements that can be made. There is room for it, but overall, I am impressed with iOS. It's not like I'm gonna continue to use my iPhone. I'm gonna switch back to an Android because customization is something I'm all about, and the iPhone basically has nothing as such other than changing the wallpapers, so it's not my thing, but I can see why people like using iPhones. I mean, think about it. There's the consistency, and then there's the similar looks overall, like from generation to generation, you'll never get confused. And lastly, there's security. Being a much more restrictive and obviously uncustomizable system, it's very easy for Apple to maintain a higher degree of security when it comes to just, app logins even. Face ID is reportedly, at least I've read on the internet, that it's a little bit more secure as compared to fingerprint scanners. So overall, iOS 14, it's impressive, and I kind of enjoyed it, contrary to what I thought would be the case. But yeah, I had a fun time, but I'll be switching. So that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be seeing you guys later. Cheers!